Some of the traits that make Mike so strong for us all and such a unique character, of course, include his long-range vision. He's very much a thinker and he's got a very creative mind. Many of us, including me, kind of look to Mike to help us discern what's happening out there in the future and identify completely new and unconventional ideas about how we can be better for our credit unions. He's irrepressible. He's an unstoppable pain in the ass when his mind is set to something, and that determination has helped him translate a lot of ideas into a lot of good for credit unions. So he's done a lot of good.
I really think here in Georgia, he's created one of the best state trade associations in the country. Mike is a tremendous nurturer of talent. If you look at the leaders in the Georgia credit union movement, so many of them, myself included, got their start working for Mike. Mike is an apostle of the cooperative finance movement of the credit union industry, and he's really dedicated his life to the movement.
When Mike talks, people listen. It's also, when Mike talks, he talks a lot. So when we listen to Mike, we get to listen a lot. But we don't mind that. We actually like it because even though he tends to say quite a few things, just about everything he says is worth listening to and is very interesting. He's got a brain that won't quit. And we're really lucky that he has applied that brain to our system to help credit unions get better and better all the time.
We've collaborated in a lot of different areas to bring about public awareness campaigns, and it's just a reflection of Mike's ability to collaborate, whether it's at the state level, the national level, and even international. I will say in the credit union movement, he's a rock star, but what I really would tell you, he has a love for rock music. I've had the opportunity to go to an Aerosmith concert with him. As mild-mannered as Mike seems to be, and in those ways, he is a hard rock and roll junkie.
He was the ACUL chairman, and I was the ACUL executive director, so I got to know him really, really well there. And in fact, a little story is I would get a phone call at my house almost every morning, and he would start it with, "Good morning, Vietnam." This is who Mike is. I've worked with him on World Council projects and so many other things. You name it, and Mike has had a leadership touch on everything in this system.
I feel like Georgia credit unions will be indebted to he and his family forever. I thank them for sharing him with us. We've been very, very blessed by his quality of leadership. At the time of H.R. 1151, Mike and Cindy Conley were instrumental in having this bill passed, and so America's credit unions will always be thankful for the role that they played.
I got a call from Buck Levins, and he told me that CUNA was getting ready to introduce legislation to fix the field of membership problem that we had after the loss at the Supreme Court. The next morning, I went with Cindy Conley and sat with Speaker Gingrich in his Georgia office, and I told him about CUNA's plans, and he says, "Well, you can try that, but it won't pass." And he punched a few numbers on his telephone and got his people up in Washington, and within 15 or 20 minutes, they identified a sponsor for the legislation. He put 4 ranking committee members to quickly co-sponsor, and he said, "Now, is there anything else I can do for you?" And I said, "Thank you," and I immediately went straight to Dan Micha's suite. And he had the courage to take a chance on this yahoo from Georgia that was telling him that the speaker would help us out on this important legislation. And as it turned out, he was absolutely instrumental in passing H.R. 1151.
We know a lot of people don't know this, but I was Mike Mercer's first parole officer. So I've known Mike ever since. But seriously, Mike is a tremendous individual and a great asset to the credit union movement. He was on the board that recruited me to CUNA. He's been on the CUNA board, the foundation board, the CSS board, and it just goes on and on. And he has this partnership with Poland. When his chairman of the board told him where Poland was, Mike was on it. And Poland now is one of the biggest international credit union movements to come out of the Cold War.
I attended another GAC and heard a speaker who, in broken English, was telling us about the story of the fall of the Soviet Empire and the rise of the Solidarity movement and the desire to find ways to inject democracy into the lives of people at the local level. This young fellow, his name was Grzegorz Pirecki, and we formalized our partnership with the Polish credit unions in 1995. And I should say right here that the Georgia credit union folks have learned way more from our Polish friends than we could ever hope to provide to them.
Reaching out and inviting me to go to Poland opened my eyes about cooperative finance and the value that credit unions have. And when I came back from Poland, from that first trip, I realized that there were people in my community that needed help, Bosnians, refugees from the war. And through that process, learning about how to serve underserved groups, our credit union has been very successful. So there are thousands of lives that essentially their lives are improved because of what Mike did, 20 years ago.
Mike Mercer has made so much of an impact on the National Cooperative Bank. He's actually invited back for a second term. There's been a couple, but very few have actually been invited back. And our business with credit unions has grown significantly during his tenure on the board.
Mike, you've earned this. You personify it. In my mind, you are the credit union movement, and I congratulate you on this award.
Mike, your leadership innovations, contributions, personal commitment, and unfaltering dedication to the credit union system is truly admirable. Thank you for all you have done, and congratulations.
Mike Mercer is a champion for credit unions and members. All of us know he's always looking for a better way. He's been a leadership voice across the system, and you may also know he's got a great ear for rock and roll. Mike Mercer, a legend in his own time zone. Seriously, Mike, congratulations on this very significant achievement. All of your friends and colleagues at CUNA Mutual look forward to working with you for many years to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, the National Credit Union Foundation is proud to honor Mike Mercer with the 2015 Herb Wegner Memorial Award for Lifetime Achievement.